I saw something about this one time.
This is Don't Panic, episode number 252, recorded September 9th, 2019. Back in the fold. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of Don't Panic, the technology podcast on gadgets, the internet, and you. I'm Sean Jennings, joined as always by Hall of Famer and all-time leader in rushing yards, Colby Rabideau, and of course, five-time Pro Bowler and Super Bowl 43 champion, Dan Miller.
Oh, yeah.
Gentlemen, we're here to talk football today. And the first question, I know y'all are watching the Texans-Saints game this evening. I think the question on everyone's mind is Alvin Kamara. Can he be stopped? What do future teams have to do to slow down this phenomenal player?
I bet if they stuck peanut butter to his shoes that they would slow him down.
Now, the real impressive thing about Alvin Kamara is that before he was a professional football player, he had a singing career with a group of chipmunks.
I don't get it.
Alvin and the Chipmunks, Dan.
Nailed it.
Is this guy's name Alvin?
Yes, yeah. Alvin Kamara.
Okay.
Wow. Well done, sir. Ooh. Well done. That was phenomenal. That was great. Dan, I like your peanut butter on the cleats idea. I assume the NFL runs by what I call Airbud rules, where if there's nothing in the rules explicitly against it, then it must be, hey, nothing in the book says a dog can't play basketball. So, we'll roll with it. What's new with you guys? Aside from football.
Football. Yeah, the Patriots won. That was dope.
I will say I do have a football internet-related thing that may apply to the show that you guys might find amusing. As I mentioned, it's Monday Night Football happening right now as we do the show. And every couple years, they introduce new graphics packages, keep it looking fresh. And ESPN debuted a new one tonight on Monday Night Football. And in the bottom right-hand corner, they have the little graphic that shows the location on the field, 1st and 10 and 2nd and 3 and whatever. But for whatever reason, they decided to color it bright yellow throughout the whole game, permanently bright yellow, which is the exact same color when the graphic changes to indicate there's a flag on the field. So it looks like there's a flag on every single play. Twitter went crazy. Football Twitter, I should say, went crazy. Tweeted at ESPN, said, what a monstrosity. This is confusing. Everyone hates it. And get this, at halftime, they turned it off. They changed the color because they heard the complaints on Twitter. And so by the second half of the game, it was no longer bright green. It was black. So there was no confusion.
Wow, that's really cool.
Yeah, so they're listening. I mean, I don't think it solves world hunger, but it's still exciting that someone's paying attention at least.
Right, you weren't just shouting into the void.
Right, which is 99% of the internet, of course.
Right. That's cool.
That sweet void. All my friends are in the void. Oh, shit. Did they just score? Touchdown! And Sean may have won his fantasy
and welcome
for the week.
To the Don't Panic NFL podcast.
Hey, look, if anyone out there is looking to co-host a sports podcast, Coffee and Beer would love to add one. I would love to do a sports podcast. As someone who knows little about sports. That would be a dream come true.
Sports.
All sorts of sports. But we don't have to talk about sports, guys. What's the thing? What's going on?
What's the thing?
Come on.
I don't know what the thing
is.
Give
me something. What?
It seems like
so boring.
I don't have
You don't know where you are, Dan, do you?
I don't know where I am. I don't have anything. I have a pick this week, I guess.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to finding out what kind of phone I'm going to get tomorrow.
The Apple event's tomorrow?
Oh my God. I've been seeing... It's weird. This is the first year they're streaming it on YouTube, so anyone can watch it. You don't have to have an Apple device to watch it. But I've been getting paid YouTube ads promoting it, which is very weird.
I've also been getting a lot of Twitter ads for it.
I haven't gotten any of these things.
Oh, boy. Yeah. You must not be in the demographic, Dan.
I guess not. I But yeah, other than that, I don't know. I don't have much.
I did something impulsive yesterday.
Oh.
I so I had recently gotten an email notification that one of my credit cards had closed because I hadn't used it in so long. So I was like, that's fine. And then I got a thing about like the Apple Card, and I was like, well, okay. So I just did the thing. I got the Apple Card.
Congrats.
Thanks. I got approved.
It's not like they just give them to anybody, so
I think they might. It did take like a whole 60 seconds to happen, which was kind of cool. And then I got 3% cash back today on some App Store transaction.
Which is, I'm going to guess, maybe 9 cents.
It was actually $10. I don't know what it was.
Oh, boy.
It must have been a subscription.
Someone's splurgy in the App Store.
Right. I'm out of control. No, it must have been a subscription or something. So it's like 30 cents.
Boom!
Whoa!
Blammo.
Whoa. You have a lot of cards in your wallet.
Well, one of them is the Apple Cash Card.
Yeah.
So that one doesn't really count. One of them I need to get rid of. Simple.
What's wrong with Simple?
Let me tell you what's wrong with Simple, Colby.
Uh-oh.
The whole reason, so Simple is an online bank. I feel like it was popular in the tail end of the Web 2.0 social web era. I guess that was the word social web than Web 2.0. And one of the big reasons that I got them as a bank, they decided, we're just gonna not do this anymore, which was the ability to send checks over the internet.
Yeah, that was a nice feature.
Yeah.
And so, plus,
you don't like your sweet checkbook?
No.
You got a checkbook?
For you?
I didn't even get a checkbook.
Yeah, they sent me a checkbook.
Oh.
Oh, actually, no. I had to fill out a form and get a checkbook.
No,
jealous.
I don't like the sweet because the other problem. Well, maybe that would be resolved with the checkbook, but they're always like interesting withdrawal limits and stuff. So I need to get rid of my Simple card. If I did that, then I would only have 1, 2, 3 cards. 4 cards.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, you can use that new Apple Card to pick up your new phone.
Yes, I mean that was the big motivation. I was like, well, I'm going to be dropping a lot of money in September on maybe a watch also. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if it's cool. But here's an experience report. I do have something. I forgot. It's been so long since we did the show. I got to use CarPlay for a really long time. I would say a total of almost 8 hours or more, probably.
I was going to say, friend of the show, Emily, bought a car that has CarPlay.
It's amazing. Like,
it's pretty cool.
So here is when I got a car. When I got a car, we had like the cars that were actually in production at that time. I think like 2007. They were starting to get audio auxiliary ports.
Mm-hmm.
And my car didn't have that, but you could get the tape to headphone jack converter thing.
Oh yeah, I love those.
And those work great. They worked so well. And then in college, all the cars were like, you know what? No auxiliary port, Bluetooth only. And that sucked. Those never worked. Never ever, like, they have to, please enter the PIN code 0000. Connecting. God forbid someone else wants to connect their
phone. And then
phone.
It automatically downloads your contacts into their car, which always happened to me.
Yep. No one wants that. So this new world of you plug your phone. I bought like a car mount. Didn't even realize I wouldn't need it. Plug your phone into the car, and your phone is now powering the center console dashboard thing.
Your phone is one with the car.
It's amazing.
It had Google Maps, Apple Maps, Waze. I could use whatever
Overcast,
Maps app I wanted. Overcast was there.
Music.
Spotify was there. Music was obviously there. I forget which other apps were on there.
Messaging, calls.
Yep. Although no one called me or no one messaged me, as from what I remember.
The Siri text messaging I find actually works really well.
I
I've
used
been
Siri
impressed.
to like dial in directions, which worked.
It's one of my favorite features on my car. Now, are you on the iOS 13 beta or were you on iOS 12?
I was on iOS 12.
I don't. I
You got a
consider
beta
you
kid over here?
a forward-thinking, early adopter type. That's honestly the thing I'm most excited for in iOS 13 is improved CarPlay, because they've totally redone the design.
Oh.
Because the issue I find with CarPlay, and apparently Apple agrees, is you can only have one thing on the screen at a time. So if you want to, pause the music while the map is up, you've got to switch apps. The new default screen actually has a couple different widgets on it, showing it so the map will only be like 2/3 of the screen, plus the play controls, plus other things. And it's got a new look to it, and it looks really great. The people on the beta who have it say it's really excellent, so that's what I'm looking forward to most.
Ooh. Love a good
really
widget.
Cool. Love a widget.
Yep.
But my other thing was, I left New York, and I tried to use Apple Pay. Apple Pay works at a lot of there's a lot of these fast foody kind of places, McDonald's, Dunkin' Donuts, that are doing the you just use a computer to order your food, and then you go up to the counter, and then someone calls out your order eventually. What was the other one that did this? Shake Shack is doing this now.
Dunkin' Donuts does that?
I thought it was Dunkin' Donuts, but maybe
could be. I've just never experienced that.
But anyways, no, maybe it wasn't Dunkin' Donuts. It was somewhere. Maybe it was. Oh, I think I went to McDonald's once on the way up because we were starving, and once on the way back because we needed coffee. But the other restaurants are the big thing that it is really awkward to use Apple Pay at. Even when there's a restaurant like I experienced, where someone comes over with one of those Europe-style things.
Yeah, those are cool.
They are cool, but then they still take your card and then do it in front of you. It's like, no, just give it to me. I'll take care of it. But I think that the way that we will get Apple Pay in almost all circumstances will be with these kiosks that you order from, where all the fast casual and fast food restaurants will just have a slate of kiosks that you go up to and you place your order, and then you can Apple Pay to your heart's content or whatever. Whatever the future of payments are. But I was paying attention to when I was using Apple Pay because now I have that card, and I was able to use it for everything except food. CVS, stop at CVS. CVS supports it.
But that's what's funny for me is I agree with you, but I've gone straight past Apple Pay. I didn't even get off on the exit. I just kept going straight to paying via that company's app. When I pay in the Dunkin' Donuts app, they scan the QR code in the app. I get points, Dan.
Let me turn my brightness up.
Right,
sorry.
Stop that.
God, the solar flares are at the wrong angle right now.
Dan, do you know how many times it's not worked for me? 0. I've never had. They've done it every time. It's not like it used to be. But I get honestly, you can keep your 1% back on all purchases. I get free Dunkin' Donuts when I get 200 points. So I'm just saying. That's been great. When you buy stuff in the app, you get when you use the McDonald's app, you get exclusive coupons, and you get a Big Mac that's normally like $4 or $5, and you get it for $1.
Now, Sean, have you done the math? Is that $1 Big Mac worth is it a better deal than 2% back?
I will say, in general, I don't do math, so no, I haven't.
So I assume it is.
So I haven't. You're probably right.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the answer.
But I have been using Apple Pay more, I will say, and it technically works.
Wow, high praise.
Yep, it does the payments good. It's better with Face ID than it was with Touch ID, I will say. That's a big step up.
Yeah.
But I still have that problem where cashiers don't realize I did it. like at grocery stores and stuff, and they're like waiting for me to like take out a card or give them cash, and I'm like, no, I already paid. You can just hit the
I
credit
always
button
like
on the-
show them the thing. Like, look, I'm doing this.
Boop. That's what you gotta do. You gotta make the sound with your mouth. Boop boop.
Boop.
I paid. Not trying to rob you. Yeah.
Apple Pay.
Now, you don't have to tell me, but I'm going to ask because this was the point of contention with Apple Card. Did you get good interest rates when you applied, did you find?
What's a good interest rate?
Mine was 17.99%.
That was on the lower end of the card. I think the bottom was like 15, which is crazy.
I don't know what a good interest rate is. I've only played an interest rate on a credit card exactly once in my life.
I know that the Democratic candidates for president, some of them, are advocating for a future law that would cap the amount of interest that can be charged at 7%.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
But there are credit cards that go as high as 50%, if you can believe it, and somehow that's not illegal.
Wow.
Yeah.
I can
That's called
believe
preying on poor people, and it's terrible. And that's what bugs me about all the advertising around the Apple cards. They're like, oh, it's no fees, and it's no penalties, and it's no... And I'm like, but your interest rates, like, you're a company that sits on $100 billion in cash, never mind your various other earnings, and you can't make a reason... Like, do you really need 15% on the card? You can't settle for 5 or 10?
I wonder how. I guess I'm curious about the business of those cards, right? Because like Apple's not like the bank, Goldman Sachs is the bank,
Right.
So I wonder what like
Who makes the
what
money on
Apple, right, or like the Uber card, right, or like there are other companies have credit cards. Like what's the deal? Like what do they get out of it?
It's a good question. Probably your money. How much of it? TBD.
One can only assume.
Yep. Well, guys, we have got 2 weeks worth of news in the rundown. And while you're looking for our first story, I want to thank everybody who turned off the football game and instead, I did win my fantasy this week, by the way. I know people were worried. Last minute touchdown. Thank you, Deshaun Watson. We're live at facebook.com/Don't Panic Show and on Twitch at twitch.tv/Don't Panic Show, like we are every Monday about 10:15 Eastern. Please join us. We love the folks who are live, and if you have any questions or comments, put them in the chat. We are watching. Guys, what's our first story of the week here?
Oh, good question,
Don't
Sean.
all jump at once. There's so many to choose from.
Blah, 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 blah. Oh, man.
All
What?
kinds of...
What a couple weeks here, actually.
Yeah. Stuff technically happened.
Stuff happened.
Yeah, we
SNES on the Switch I'm actually very excited about, and I have played around with.
Great. Well, let's start there. We got time to get
Let's
through a
do
lot
it.
of news. So let's start there. Nintendo launched its Switch Online service about a year ago. Today, they announced the next big addition. Access to SNES games, Super NES games, joining the existing NES games. They're now available to download. Titles at launch include Super Mario Kart, Super Mario World 2, Legends of Zelda, A Link to the Past, Super Mario World, Star Fox, on and on. There's a whole bunch of them. The other thing, Nintendo promises more games will be added over the future, and these games will support the Rewind feature they announced earlier at launch, which is essentially a... How would you describe it, Dan? Essentially, it's a save point. It creates a save point within the game.
Oh, yeah. So, but it's cooler than a save point.
Right.
It's as if you just walked away from like your old Super Nintendo, and then you ever having to do this? I don't know if you ever had to do this, but try to surreptitiously leave a Super Nintendo on because you couldn't get to a save point. So you leave it on while you're at school or while you were sleeping, so you could get back to it the next day. This lets you save whenever you want, even if the game wasn't designed to let you save there.
Very
Magic.
cool. One other thing that they also launched at the same time was a custom SNES controller for the Switch, specifically to play these new games. It's wireless but charges over USB-C. It'll be available to purchase exclusively for Switch Online members for $29.99 at some point in the future. Date TBD. Which to me is actually my favorite part of the announcement. I don't own a Switch. I'm not going to play any of these games, but damn, that controller brings back nostalgia, and I would pay for that for sure.
Now, Dan, here's a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Not really a person who ever played any of these games.
Mm-hmm.
What game should I play?
Oh, that. So there are a lot of these that I had never played. Um, I feel like Star Fox is definitely the one you shouldn't play because it is so far ahead of its time. It looks terrible. It's like playing a N64 game that's made out of like milk cartons or something. It's just like, okay, I see what you're getting at, but this ain't it, Chief. Uh, Super Mario Kart, obviously a classic. I think probably the best games on here are Yoshi's Island. That's
Okay.
the cool Mario game that's drawn in like a like first grader crayon style. That one's
Um,
really cool. What's the other one
I'll
on
put in a
here?
plug for. I barely played video games, but the one game that I played, my family played a lot on Super Nintendo, was Super Mario World, which
Oh yeah.
is a great classic Mario game.
And I think I've been playing Super Metroid. I never played it before, so this is like my chance. It's the one with Samus, so you kind of just explore this huge space and you get different abilities which will allow you to go different places. So it's like a little bit RPG, a little bit like jumping around, shooting stuff. Um, so that one's actually held up pretty well. I feel like when you get to the Super Nintendo games, you get into the realm of games that actually have a chance of holding up and actually being
mm.
good games, which is not my experience with any of the NES games.
Nice.
Yeah, it's
Nice.
exciting. I will say, when the day comes when they put out N64 games and a custom wireless N64 controller, they're going to sell 1 trillion of them.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's a no-brainer. I do wonder if because they haven't really done because they did the mini versions of the NES and the SNES, but they never did one of the N64. So I wonder why they haven't really done that yet.
Yeah, well they didn't announce it and I would have expected them to.
Right.
Um
Maybe it's a rights thing with the games. The publishing might have been different around that time. Would be the only thing I could think of. But
don't know.
it's a good question. So there you go. Super Nintendo games now available with your Switch Online subscription.
Super.
All right, one story down, many more to go. What's next?
Facebook dating? What the heck?
What the heck? Facebook dating? Here we go. Let's see if you guys can sell me on signing up for this. Facebook dating is now available in the U.S. It's available to users 18 and older, thank God. It's a new tab within the mobile app. You can opt into it. You're not in by default, but you opt into it and you create a profile that's separate from your main Facebook profile and use it to meet potential romantic partners among friends of friends. It's not completely public. That's a difference between this and like a Match.com or anything like that. It's intended for friends of friends or your friends. Facebook will suggest matches for you based on preferences you express when you create the profile, along with interests from your Facebook activity. It allows you to send a like and a corresponding message to any profile you encounter. It also has a secret crush feature, which lets you express interest in up to 9 Facebook friends or Instagram followers. If you both like each other, you'll get a notification letting you know. It is free and contains no ads or in-app purchases. It's also integrated with groups and events. If people you're in a group with have created dating profiles, or if they're planning to attend the same events, they might show up in your matches even if you're not friends of friends. It's now available in 20 countries and will be in Europe next year.
Yeah, so my take on this is that Facebook, they have one or two big security things happen the last month or so. They had like the phone, everyone's phone numbers got leaked, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So I do not trust them with this information, even though it's a separate app. Like, and what does it offer? I guess like, what does it offer that other apps don't offer? Like, what's the?
It's the, from what I understand, it's the social graph piece, right? Where it's not completely strangers. You would think that friends of friends, fellow group members, people attending the same events, it's using its knowledge of you already to connect you with people who you at least have some chance of dating.
Yeah,
because they've been watching you for years in preparation.
In secret, yeah, it's your secret crush.
Yeah. But other apps can just as easily tap into the Facebook social graph as part of Facebook's
This is true.
yeah, thing they offer you. What's the word I'm looking for? Thing they offer you in exchange for you, they give you value. Value proposition. There we go.
How could we forget?
Sorry.
So I feel like that's the third time today where someone has not been able to think of a word and then like said almost the exact thing, and then they're like, "Oh yeah, it's that thing that I just said." Like you said, what's the thing? They give you value. Oh, value proposition. It was something that's happened multiple times today. I don't know why.
There's something in there.
Yep.
I think the reason I wouldn't use this is not that I don't trust Facebook. It's just I've gotten very, not weary, but I guess just tired of creepy ad integration. Like, at first it was, like, amusing, and then I ignored it, but now it's to the point where I'm just, like, over it. And so I truly don't want to give Facebook any more information about me than they already have. Because it's like, I got a cat, and I post I got a cat, and now all I get is Facebook ads for, like, cat toys and shit, and that's annoying.
Yeah.
And so God forbid, think what they would do when you start going on dates and meeting people and just think of the ads you're going to get. That's what bugs me.
Right. It's true. Alas. Well, that's weird.
But I think it's got a good chance to succeed, actually. Because I just think people, there's a statistic in this Verge article that 40% of people are unsatisfied with their current dating app. And that doesn't surprise me. And I think if they can differentiate themselves with their Facebookiness and your friends of frenziness, there's value in that.
Yeah, that's true. Facebook dating. Face date.
Date book?
Date book.
Nice.
Well done. Okie dokie. What's next? We're gonna just power through these guys. We're gonna be like a dump truck ramming a crate full of watermelons, and we're just gonna
Let's ram it through. Oh, is Samsung's folding phone back?
It's back, guys. Good news. The Galaxy Fold release date is been revealed. They have apparently made improvements.
It was 3 days ago.
Oh, was it? Is this article
in Korea?
Oh, in Korea. The U.S. on September 27th, so you got to wait till the end of the month. Samsung has said it has fixed the Galaxy Fold. What they've done is the following. The top protective layer of the Infinity Flex display has been extended beyond the bezel, making it apparent that it's an integral part of the display and not what people thought it was, which was a plastic cover they were supposed to remove. They also added additional reinforcements to better protect the device from external particles, and the top and bottom of the hinge area have been strengthened with newly added protection caps. Additional metal layers underneath the Infinity Flex display have been included to reinforce the protection of the display, and the space between the hinge and the body has been reduced. So they think they fixed it. Therefore, like I said, it is coming out on September 27th in the U.S. It's the 18th in France, Germany, Singapore, and the U.K. You're not quite able to pre-order it yet, but it will be available for the same price as before. They're also offering a new thing called the Galaxy Fold Premier Service. They say they're not going to charge you extra for this, but they did say it is direct access to Samsung experts who can provide you tailored guidance and support over the phone anytime, any day, including an optional one-on-one onboarding session. Basically, how to explain to you how not to break it.
Be cool.
The one other thing they did do was cancel any existing pre-orders. So if you had an existing pre-order when they put, for the previous version, they put on hold, they canceled you and refunded your money. But that means you'll have to get back in the pre-order queue in order to get one.
Man.
Onboarding.
Yep, your Galaxy Fold Premier service.
Speaking of words that I don't know. Speaking of weird words, you know what word I've heard a lot recently?
Palpable.
No, pre-work.
Pre-work.
Have you heard this before?
I've heard this like just in the past like couple of months.
Pre-work. Where the hell did that come from?
It's
What does
spreading
it
like
mean?
wildfire.
Have you heard this, Sean?
From you two.
You heard it from us?
I heard it from you.
I said it?
You did.
I've only heard it from New York people, so
Oh boy, we know where the epicenter is.
Oh God.
So what is pre-work? You don't know.
I don't know. I feel like is it homework or is it? It seems to be used like your homework. Like come prepared for this with this other thing, which to me is the definition of homework.
Yeah. Unless you do it at work, and then it's
used in a situation where there is no prior context in which to give the homework for the next meeting, so you are just given pre-work. But it sounds a lot like pre-crime to me.
Oh, what, like predicting work before it happens?
Right. Like we're probably going to have to do this after this meeting, so why don't you do this before this meeting, and then everything will just be more efficient.
Honestly, pre-work to me just sounds like an excuse for a company to get more out of you without paying you more. Be like, hey, good news, guys. You're still working your regular hours, but before you come in each day, you need to do your pre-work from home. Oh, I get
got
it.
him. It's not real work, so we don't have to pay you, but you have to do it.
But you have to be prepared for your job when you come in, so make sure you do your pre-work. Some tech billionaire is going to get a TED Talk on it and get some magazine cover.
Right. It's only a matter of time.
Elon Musk invented pre-work.
Have you done any good pre-work? Do you like pre-work, Dan?
I've never. This has not come up at my company.
No.
I've only heard.
Do you show up at meetings unprepared with? Does everyone else show up with their pre-work and they're like, Dan, where's your pre-work?
No, I've only heard other companies talking about it.
My dog ate my pre-work. I'm sorry.
That's great. That's got to go on a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Amazing.
But I love it. That'll be our term of the day here.
Yeah. Word of the day.
The word is pre-work.
That would be a good segment.
Yeah, our buzzword of the week. Okay, well that's a Samsung Galaxy Fold. I know you guys are gonna rush out and get that.
Yep. I'll wait for one final review from someone who doesn't work at Samsung
to say it's okay. I'm still excited for it. And there's also rumors going around that there are going to be a couple more foldable phones first half of next year from Samsung, including one that is essentially two square screens that fold into a clamshell, sort of like an old like a flip phone. And I'm kind of excited for that because that sounds crazy.
Was it a Motorola phone that was called like the Pebble or something? It was very round.
Yep. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, but it's gonna be one big touch screen when you open it up, and I have no idea how Android's gonna work on that. So I'm very excited to see because that sounds like it's gonna be like one super long display.
Right.
So it sounds very unuseful, but I love it. I love when gotta give Samsung credit for putting out stupid shit nobody wants. Like I love companies that do that.
Yeah, they're doing it.
Like, what was it? Someone noted at the Note 10 event when they released that the word Bixby was never said once. Now, that's their smart assistant platform that they're supposed to be all in on. Wasn't mentioned once. That's what I love about Samsung, because they just throw it at the wall and see what sticks.
Yeah. Yeah,
they don't do it like
true.
That anymore. Not at all. All right. What else we got, guys? Come on. More news.
Come on.
Come on.
Blah blah blah.
We got to be like your local news station that says more news per minute than the competition.
Oh
I almost got Colby to do a spit take on that one.
wait, what's the Spotify news? Spotify tests an in-app create podcast button.
Yeah.
It's boy, we're screwed.
Yeah, I know.
Synergy.
We needed more podcasts, guys. That's what the world was missing. Spotify, we talked previously on the show, purchased Anchor, a podcast creation company, and now they're working to test integration into Spotify. I believe this came from within the code of the app in Brazil or something where but they're testing a new button that says create podcast. If you tap it, it will send people over to the Anchor app if it's already installed, or send them to a web page to download the app. So it's not actually integrating the app itself into Spotify, but it is aggressively pushing people right from your main podcast list. There's a new, it looks like a regular podcast, but you hit it says create podcast, and it'll send you over to Anchor. So
I had no idea.
Did Spotify acquire Anchor?
yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Didn't really.
It
That
was,
was a while
they
ago.
did them, and I think was it Gimlet Media on the same day.
Oh, really?
One fell swoop.
One swell swoop.
Yep.
Yep. So making it easier than ever to make a podcast. How fantastic!
We're about to have a lot more competition here in this space.
I mean,
I hate to break it to you.
it kind of bums me out because I think we started this podcast at the worst time possible because because right before us was the very first wave of podcasts, and then that are still around because they were there first. Then there's us,
Right.
and then there's the second big wave of podcasts where everyone realized, oh, we can make money and careers off of this, and we fell in that awkward in between space where we
Right,
don't get
where we-
credit for being old and being first, but we're also too old to be new and interesting.
Yeah, you might be right about that, Sean. I don't know.
Yeah.
If only we waited like 2 years.
Or started 2 years earlier.
Right.
One or the other. Oh, well. Again, if anyone wants to sponsor us, now's the time.
Right.
Because the value's only going up, baby. I'm just saying, getting early, only 6 years in, and lock in your rates now.
Get in while the getting's good.
What company would you guys want to sponsor us? Like, Don't Panic presented by Company X. Who would be a good match for this show?
Simply safe.
Yeah, I mean, we can, of course. I mean, there's the Casper and Blue Aprons and, your old
We want
standbys.
something else, though.
Yeah, outside.
Old Spice.
Okay, you think we're a couple of Old Spice guys? Who's our demographic?
Old Spice guys.
Preteens and teens? Like the Axe body spray demographic?
Right.
There you
Right.
go. I feel like
Axe
we could do
body
a
spray
hell of an
presents-
ad read for Axe body spray.
Yeah, I would love that. I think I want like a real classic blue chip company, like Goodyear tires.
Ooh.
Like something with wow, they're sponsoring these guys. That's got to mean something.
We can get Michelin and have the Michelin Man on the show.
Oh my God, the fourth host, the Michelin Man.
Now,
Does he talk? It doesn't matter.
No, well he does now.
Yeah.
The Jolly Green Giant, maybe.
it's like Pikachu. He never talked before, but there's nothing stopping him now.
I thought you were gonna say he's like Pikachu, and all he says is Michelin, Michelin, Michelin.
Now, Sean. The company I would most like to see sponsor our show would, of course, be OMG Roofing.
Oh, I would love that too, Dan. I would love that too, but we'd have to talk a lot
that
more
be
about
double
roofing
dipping?
products. I'll negotiate the deal on behalf of both companies. That's and I get a cut too because I'm on both sides. Yeah, unfortunately, we're not roofing focused enough.
Mm.
Do you guys
Yeah.
know a lot about low slope roofing?
I can infer a lot from the name.
Are you a number 12 or a number 14 man, Dan?
I'm number
I feel like-
14 all the way.
Yeah, 12 hours in a day. 14 is a much more unique number.
Okay, so you're gonna go with the what is the 14? That's extra heavy duty. No, I'm sorry, that's heavy duty. 15 is extra heavy duty, and then believe it or not, it goes to super extra heavy duty. But we only sell those in China.
The
They
iPhone, the super, the Max, the 10 Max roofing.
Yeah, yes.
10 Max edition.
Pro.
You'll you'll line my roof with gold plating.
They look gold.
OMG Roofing 15 edition.
Edition. Yes. Only for the celebs.
I don't know much about this, but I feel like this could be like the food safety podcast that the people on Do by Friday like a lot. Like we could get a little bit of a cult following out of this.
Oh yeah, just get like super niche.
Yeah. Get some really engaging personalities from the roofing industry on there.
And get rid of us because we're not engaging at all. And you got a show. This is great.
It'd be like Conan's Clueless Gamer, but we don't know anything about roofing, and then you get some roofing people on to tell us about it.
I would say that sounds exciting, but it doesn't. So no fault of yours, Dan, but I can assure you that's a no-go. But hey, again, we'll take your money. Who wants to sponsor us? We'll do it. The Chinese government? Really, anybody?
Chinese government? I mean, they might be already sponsoring our podcast for all we know.
Yeah, I mean they're definitely
Does that
scraping
make us a state-sponsored actor?
Oh my God, we'd have to register as foreign agents.
Damn.
We don't want to pull a Manafort. If Ukraine wants to pay us millions of dollars to lobby on their behalf.
No.
Now that's
No.
a niche show right there. A show all about how great Ukraine is.
Ooh, Ukraine in the membrane. That's what we'd call it.
Oh, sold! I'll greenlight that. Sold. I love that. Ukraine in the membrane. Although I am gonna put a word in for insane in the Ukraine.
Also good.
See that Quentin Tarantino tweet?
No, what was that?
Hang on, no. Pause.
I'm not moving.
Did I spell his name right?
Tarantino or Quentin? I don't think I could actually spell either, technically. Quentin Tarantino.
All right, come back to me.
Yes,
Come back.
okay. While you're looking that up, we can do one more story before we get into picks.
Oh, you Colby dog.
So Speak Now, we've got the inside look at Siri. We've got iPhone repairs be made easier. Disney Plus is releasing weekly episodes. Facebook hiding like counts. Some antitrust stuff. What's grabbing your attention?
Oh yeah, so much general attorney action.
Yes, well, it turns out this week, if you're a giant multinational tech conglomerate, things aren't going your way. Both Facebook and Google are now under investigation by states' attorney general for antitrust violation. First up, Facebook, a group of states, is investigating Facebook for potential violations of antitrust law, being led by New York Attorney General Letitia James. It includes attorneys from Colorado, Florida, Iowa, Nebraska, North Carolina, Ohio, Tennessee, and the District of Columbia. The statement said the investigation will focus on whether Facebook, quote, endangered consumer data, reduced the quality of consumers' choices, or increased the price of advertising. This is on top of the $5 billion fine they already paid the FTC earlier this year. The FTC, by the way, still investigating Facebook for other potential violations. Now, today it was announced that Google is now under an antitrust investigation by 50 attorney generals across the United States and territories, being led by Republican Attorney General Ken Paxton from Texas. It will focus primarily on Google's advertising and search business, though it was suggested they may expand the investigation later. California and Alabama are the only two states' attorneys general not involved in the probe. Paxton said that Google, quote, dominates all aspects of advertising on the internet and searching on the internet. Yeah, so there you go. A couple big investigations happening here.
Big ones. Yeah. It's crazy. Perhaps not unfounded.
Yep. Yep. I think is the general consensus. Cool. We more or less agree. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I think so. I more or less agree. Seems worth looking into at least.
Yep. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what authority they have and what comes of it. You know, at the end of the day, all they can really do is sue, and that leaves it up to the courts. You know, the FTC has their rights on top of it, and how they leverage that is TBD. You know, until basically they're just going to keep paying fines until somebody says actually break them up. That's how antitrust works, you know, till they actually negotiate something that requires a change in the fundamental structure of the company outside of just paying fines.
Right. Right.
Okie dokie. Well, there you go. Well, that was a heck of a lot of news. 2 weeks worth of news. Dan, did you find the tweet you were looking for?
I found it.
Oh, whew.
It was a journey.
Let's
I
see.
had to plumb the depths. I put it in Don't Panic.
Oh, that's a great one. Do you want to read it for the folks at home?
It says Tarantined and Quented by written at Derek Tino.
Very nice. A mouthful. I was glad you were able to read that. I don't know if I
Get
would.
it? Written and directed by Quentin Tarantino.
That's pretty good.
Well worth it. Very nice. Let's go ahead and move over to picks. It's part of the show where we just bring something we want to share with the world, and we've got some in here. And my name is First, so I will go first this week. I am a fan of a new genre of entertainment that I am calling, wow, that looks really expensive. And it's all these new, I would kind of put Westworld in that category. Game of Thrones, these shows that's like, wow, they must have spent a lot of money making that. And a new entry in that genre is Carnival Row on Amazon Prime, which is their new sort of fantasy mystery series with Orlando Bloom and Cara Delevingne. You've probably seen ads for it. They're really promoting it a lot right now. I will not get into the general plot of it because it is a bit complex. But the really short version of it is it's a world where humans and fae magic types exist. You got your fairies and your fauns and your centaurs and your werewolves and other such things in sort of a parallel Earth. And they all live together in a city, and there's mystery, and there's drama, and there's intrigue. The acting is off the charts. A rare show that I streamed very quickly. It's 8 episodes, an hour long a piece, but I burned through it because I could not stop watching. I would say it's like Game of Thrones light, which is exactly what I want. So it was a very good show all the way around, and if you're looking for something new to watch, I would recommend checking that out.
I have never heard of this.
Yeah, the interesting thing is you're probably asking yourself, hey, Sean, what book is this based on? It's not. It's an original idea. It's not based on anything.
What?
Which is weird.
That doesn't happen anymore.
I know. That's what I said. They wrote it as a movie script and then turned it into the series. I would describe it as, remember when Bright came out on Netflix with Will Smith and everyone was super excited and then we were all disappointed when we watched it and it wasn't very good? This is like the good version of that set in the late 1800s.
Neat.
Is how I would describe it. So check it out. And they've already renewed it for a season 2. So it's going to at least be around for a little while. Colby, what do you have?
I got a new PlayStation game a little while ago that I've been playing for some time. It is I guess it's not quite a sequel and not quite a DLC. So Far Cry 5 came out a while ago and they released this game called Far Cry New Dawn, which takes place after Far Cry 5, but it's the same map. They just redid all the stuff in it. Like all the stuff is new, but it's the same like map. And it sounds dumb, but I've been enjoying it. I like the original game. In general, I just like the Far Cry experience of driving around and like chaos ensuing. So if you also like it, you might enjoy this game. It's not. I think it was. I don't know what it costs now. For oh boy, when I bought it on Amazon right now, it says it's $22. When I purchased this, it was $40, and that was the release price. So it was not quite a full $60 blockbuster game, which is fair perhaps since it was basically the same game again. But yeah, I didn't hate it. I'm still playing it, I guess is the point.
Cool. Very neat. I will point out, Colby, this is now the third time you've picked Far Cry on the show. I checked that out, including when you made... Actually, it's technically 4 if you count the top picks of the year in 2014 when you picked Far Cry 4 as your second biggest pick of the year.
I don't know if you could see me over here, Colby. I was shaking my head.
Yeah, I get it. Nobody likes the game, but...
No, what I love is your commitment to it. That's amazing.
Yeah. I like none of these games have been particularly well reviewed since like Far Cry 3 was the one that everyone thought was amazing. And none of the sequels have changed anyone's life. I just like it's a fun game.
It's great.
It's fun to play. I don't care about the story really or multiplayer. I just want to drive around and have like some wacky things happen.
That's awesome. And I hope you pick Far Cry 6 whenever that comes out. Keep the tradition alive.
Sure I will.
I'll also point out, by the way, 2014, Dan, your pick of the year was The Last of Us. And my pick of the year was Pebble Steel. So that shows you how long ago that was.
I stand by that pick.
I'm totally for Pebble Steel. I'd still be wearing mine if they didn't go out of business.
Yeah. I still haven't finished Last of Us.
But you've played Far Cry for how many years? We're not judging.
Last of Us has too much story and not enough hijinks.
Oh, that's all. I should get Far Cry because that's exactly like of the video games I do like to play. I am a big fan. I used to play Mercenaries on PlayStation 2 a lot. And that was the whole gimmick of the game, was you could just go around and just drive around and blow stuff up and do whatever you wanted.
Yeah, that's the fun part. There's like a story that's kind of happening, but I just like to drive. Like, I have fun driving between the story points.
That's awesome. I might pick this up. Far Cry New Dawn. Get it wherever you get games. Speaking of games, Dan, what have you got?
Speaking of games... I have not been around very much, so I've only played this game for maybe an hour and a half, but I am very taken by it. It is a very difficult game to explain. It's called Control. It's on all the things. I'm playing on PC, which is really exciting. It looks amazing on PC. That was the first thing that drew me into it. I was like, oh wow, like this is a game that's supposed to really like push this computer that I've had for almost 2 years that I haven't really done much with besides play a 20-year-old game of Super Smash Brothers, and the storyline of this game is very important, and is the atmosphere, and I would describe it as like a Stranger Things, Twin Peaks crossed with a little bit of X-Files storyline. It's really weird and really bizarre, and you're just a person. It's it doesn't really explain it. You just show up at this secret government agency and everything is gone to shit, and you have to like figure out what's going on. But you have this you obtain these things like a telephone that allows you to teleport around, and this like service weapon that is actually like insanely powerful. And like people you can make people float, and you can like destroy things. It's really weird. But like the combat is really interesting because the environment plays so much into it. Plus it's beautiful, and I'm really curious like where the storyline is going. It's just a really fun thing to look at and be like, like wow, this is kind of a trip. Which is like one of the few. It's the feeling I get reading Saga or watching Twin Peaks of like, oh, this is not like anything else I've seen in this medium before. So check it out, Control. It's on PS4, it's on Xbox, it's on computer. Might be on other things. I know it's on those things.
I think it's just on those things. Yeah, that's great. This is fun. You guys are really selling me on your picks this week. Someone who doesn't play games, I'm very excited. Control is one of the first games to support new graphics cards with real-time ray tracing.
Yeah, mine
Probably why
doesn't
it looks
really
so
do
good.
that, so I don't know. I don't know what that gets you.
Neat. Alrighty, Control. Get that on major platforms, as Dan mentioned. We'll have the links to that and all the picks on our website, as we do every week over at don'tpanic.io. Guys, anything else you'd like to plug? Anything you're doing you want to share with the world?
No, I'm very tired. It's been a long summer.
Not yet. Maybe next week.
Ooh.
Maybe finally.
Ooh.
Now that's a tease.
I know. I teased it over the summer, and then I totally didn't do it, so...
We're here whenever you're ready. Speaking of teases, guys, I know this is exciting. New episodes of Game Nights up on the feed.
Game nights.
It's only been since March.
Yeah,
Oh my
remember
God,
that?
has it really been that long?
Yeah, it's been that long.
It does not feel like...
Yep. So a fresh episode up on the feed. Listen to us get lost walking around in circles. It's more fun than it sounds, I promise, over at GameNights.tv or wherever you get podcasts. Just search Game Nights and look for the fuzzy green icon. Of course, this show is Don't Panic. I mentioned don'tpanic.io. It's a great website. Audio, video there. Links to all the picks. You can also subscribe to the show wherever you get podcasts. Apple Podcasts, Overcast, Spotify, Stitcher, you name it, we're there. You can also get the video version on YouTube. And, of course, you can reach out to us. At Don't Panic Show on Twitter or email us don'tpanicshow@gmail.com. I mentioned earlier about watching us live Monday nights about 10:15 Eastern over at facebook.com/don'tpanicshow and twitch.tv/don'tpanicshow. We'll be there as well. Thanks everybody who joined us tonight. We appreciated the viewership as always. We're going to be back next week with full wall-to-wall, top-to-bottom, head-to-shoulders coverage of the Apple announcement happening tomorrow. A little late, but we'll still cover it. Nonetheless, we'll have some time to digest, think about it.
Everything's better with time.
Well, it is funny because when it comes to Apple events, I have found, because we've now covered well over a dozen different Apple events, and I find when we do the episodes the day of, we're much more excited about the products than we are. Like, we do need a cool off, because when we do it the day of, we're like, oh my God, this is cool, I'm so excited. And then when we do the episodes like a week later, we're like, yeah, that was okay. So it's good. We're going to take a breather. We're back next week with new phones and new watches and new software and and who knows what else they'll announce. So join us then. But until then, on behalf of Colby and Dan, I'm Sean. Thanks for being here. We'll see you next time for another exciting edition of Don't Panic.